Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're rediving into a common but critical G1.000 enunciation, the dreaded white Alt1 fail. Seeing any kind of failure message flash up on your PFD can be startling, but like with any emergency or abnormal procedure, understanding what's happening is the first step to handling it calmly and correctly. So, what does Alt1 fail? Actually, man, in simple terms, your aircraft's primary alternator, Alternator 1, has stopped working. It's no longer producing electrical power to run your systems and charge the battery. In many twin-engine aircraft equipped with the G1000, you have a dual alternator system for redundancy, which is a fantastic safety feature. When Alternator 1 fails, the first thing you'll likely notice, besides the message itself, is a shift in the electrical load. If you look at your MFD's engine indication system, you'll see the amperage draw on Alt1 drop to 0. Simultaneously, you will see the load on ALT2 increase as it picks up the slack for the entire electrical system. This is your cue that the system is working as designed, the backup is taking over. In some aircraft, you might also see an initial spike in the LT to load before it stabilizes. Your checklist will be your best friend here, and it will likely guide you through the initial steps. The first action is usually to try and reset the alternator. You'll typically do this by turning the Alt1 master switch off for a moment, and then back on. Sometimes, this can be enough to resolve a temporary glitch. But what if the reset doesn't work and the Alt1 fail message stays on? This tells us we have a more persistent problem. Now we move from action to diagnosis. What could be causing this? The most common culprits are a broken alternator belt, faulty wiring, or a failed voltage regulator. A broken belt is often the easiest to diagnose, though you can't exactly pop the cowling open in midair. But if you heard a strange noise or felt a slight vibration from the engine just before the failure, a snapped belt is a strong possibility. If the belt is intact, the problem could be with the wiring connecting the alternator to the electrical system. A loose connection, a frayed wire, or a blown fuse or circuit breaker in the alternator's field circuit can interrupt power generation. Finally, the alternator itself, or its associated voltage regulator, could have simply failed internally. The voltage regulator is crucial because it controls the alternator's output. If it fails, the alternator can't do its job. So, you've run the checklist, the reset didn't work, and you're flying on Alternator 2. What's next? The key is to manage your electrical load. While ALT2 is designed to handle the full load, it's now a single point of failure. If it were to fail, you'd be running on battery power alone, which is a much more serious situation. Your POH will give you specific guidance, but a good practice is to shed non-essential loads. Think about things like cabin lights, certain displays if possible, or any other hydro equipment that you don't absolutely need for the safe completion of the flight. This reduces the strain on Alt2 and preserves its lifespan. Your next step is to plan a landing at the nearest suitable airport. A single alternator failure isn't a declare an emergency and land immediately situation, but it is definitely a do you want to continue to your destination if it is hours away situation. You've lost a layer of redundancy, and you need to get on the ground to get it fixed. Once you're safely on the ground, the real maintenance work begins. A mechanic will perform a series of output tests on the alternator. They'll check the belt tension and condition, inspect all the wiring for continuity and security, and test the voltage regulator's function. If all the external components check out, but the alternator still fails to produce the correct voltage and amperage under load, it's time for a replacement. Trying to repair a modern alternator is rarely cost-effective or reliable, so a new or overhauled unit is the standard fix. Getting this sorted out properly ensures that the next time you take to the skies, you have a fully functional and reliable electrical system. Understanding these enunciations makes you a safer, more competent pilot. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more G1000 tips and aviation content. Fly safe, and we'll see ya in the next video.